Bienvenue à ce nouveau numéro de Décryptage sur Afrique 24. Notre invité est M. Ody Akhanoba, responsable principal du développement des petites et moyennes entreprises à la Banque africaine d'import-export. Il nous parle du rôle de l'institution bancaire dans l'accompagnement des PME africaines qui contribuent au développement du continent. M. Ody Akhanoba, merci de nous rejoindre sur Afrique 24. Vous êtes le responsable principal du développement des petites et moyennes entreprises à la Banque africaine d'import-export. Pouvez-vous nous dire comment Afreximbank aide les PME en Afrique?
Yes, of course. I mean, Afreximbank has always, supported SMEs. We have a very strong network of intermediary banks that we've always used to serve the SME segment of the market. But what the bank has done in the course of the last 6 months or so is install a substantive SME development unit, right? Because there are various constituencies within the African SME landscape that the bank wants to focus on supporting. I think it's those ones that are technology enabled because of their propensity to scale and to trade across borders without facing the traditional logistical barriers that have impeded trade on the continent. So that SME unit has a strategy, and it will focus on proliferating financing, capacity building, market access and policy solutions for African SMEs.
En dehors du financement, quels autres programmes Afreximbank offre-t-il aux PME?
Yeah, so the bank has what we call the Export SME Development Program, right? And that program has 4 key pillars. The first one is financing, which I think we've touched on. The second one is capacity building. And in that regard, the idea is really to collaborate with, incubator hubs, accelerators, and so on and so forth to give African SMEs the skills that they need to be able to scale their businesses and trade across borders. The third one is market access, which really speaks to the need to help African SMEs to get their products out there after they have successfully produced high quality exportable content, right? So it's actually about taking that content from the producer into the markets that matter.
Depuis le lancement de ce programme, quels sont les objectifs qui ont été atteints?
The fruits that they've yielded. I mean, it's a brand new program. We operationalized in April or May this year. So it's a brand new program, but there's already significant traction. The approach that we've taken actually is one of co-creation. So what we've done over the last few months is take our time to really sit down with these SMEs across target constituencies to understand their pain points, right? And then we've spent most of that time developing products that speak to those pain points. What we really don't want to do is reinvent the wheel and do the things that have been done on the continent before. Some have worked, some have not. What we've tried to do really is to develop fit-for-purpose solutions. And we're rolling those out now, and we're really starting to see the benefits.
Vous avez fait mention du financement bancaire traditionnel. Pouvez-vous nous dire comment Afreximbank soutient les PME qui ne peuvent pas obtenir ce financement?
That's a very good question. When I said we do a lot of sort of co-creation, a lot of needs analysis, one of the things that we found was that SMEs that cannot access traditional funding from banks may well be able to do that through a fintech, right? Because the fintechs have equip themselves with algorithms and credit scoring models that don't rely on collaterals and the other techniques that commercial banks use. So what we've tried to do is establish partnerships with fintechs, digital scale-ups, and the other technology-enabled players that are able to provide access to SMEs using usually technology-enabled solutions.
Permettre la numérisation des PME devient une priorité absolue dans les pays africains. Comment cette numérisation peut-elle aider les PME à développer leurs activités?
Digitalisation is key. I mean, we just came out of COVID-19, and that showed small and large businesses alike just how important it is to digitalize. The SMEs who survived COVID were the ones that already had digital infrastructure around them or were able to quickly switch into a digital operating model. So I think the lesson is crystal clear after the last 2 years that you need digital to be able to scale on the one hand, but you also need digital to survive in the event that the world forces us to shut down and confines us into one little space. And of course, there's the other obvious things around, accessibility. A business that is digital, a business that has a digital presence is easily accessible from anywhere in the world by anyone in the world. So from a market access standpoint, is also a no-brainer in my view.
Parlant d'innovation, nous avons vu des startups en Afrique qui se sont mobilisées et ont apporté des solutions concrètes aux défis posés par les crises sanitaires et le changement climatique. Comment Afreximbank intègre et accompagne ces nouveaux acteurs dans la stratégie de développement du continent?
Great question. I think many of these actors, they're young. Again, they're technology driven, they're technology enabled. And, what we're doing is a couple of things. The first thing is we're developing financing solutions that target them, right? So we're bringing forth tools like convertible grants and venture capital and sort of instruments that resonate with that particular demographic, that sort of youth startup early stage venture demographic. We're bringing those onto the table to support these guys. The other thing that we're doing is we're integrating them into our own digital ecosystem. So the bank has what we call the Africa Trade Gateway, right? The Africa Trade Gateway is a suite of digital assets that is designed to mitigate the non-tariff trade barriers that exist on the continent. The obvious ones are payments, for example. We all know how difficult it is for a Ghanaian to make a payment in Ghana cedis to a Nigerian who is expecting Naira. So we've built the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPS, as a solution to that problem. There's a whole list of a whole raft of other digital solutions that we've built to mitigate those sorts of issues, and we're definitely plugging the SME constituencies that we support into the ATG so that they can benefit from that as well.
Comment le portail commercial de l'Afrique a-t-il aidé les commerçants à se développer et à atteindre leur marché en 2022?
So ATG comprises various instruments, like I said, right? One of them is trade information, right? So in the trade information portal, SMEs are immediately able to see their potential value chains, potential supply chains mapped out in one place, right? So imagine if you were an SME and your suppliers were 50 kilometers away. The suppliers you use today are 50 kilometers away, which means that getting your suppliers takes time and costs more money than it could if you knew a supplier that was 5 kilometers away, right? What our trade information portal is able to do is help you to map your potential suppliers and really help you to streamline your value chain very quickly. So those are the sorts of quick gains that we've already started to see. We're still doing work right now to determine exactly what that translates to in terms of money or in terms of financial quantums, but you can see the smoothing of many SMEs value chains and supply chains just because of the access that we've given them to the trade information portal.
Quels conseils pouvez-vous donner aux jeunes qui souhaitent créer des startups et chercher des financements auprès d'Afreximbank?
Go digital. It's that simple. As financiers, as investors, as bankers, we like scalability. The truth of the matter is that, the more likely that your business is to scale across borders, the more likely you are to get investment. So it's always a good idea to go digital.
Merci d'avoir répondu aux questions d'Africa 24.